I never thought I'd be the one stuck in the middle of a family mess like this. It's the kind of thing you hear about from a friend or see in some dramatic TV show, but when it's your own life, it hits differently. My name's Asher, I'm 18, and I'm about to tell you how my sister stole from me. My mom took her side, and they both tried to ship me off to military school to fix me. But this isn't just about that. It's about the lies, the fights, and how I had to outsmart them to come out on top. Here's how it all went down. I live in a small house in a quiet suburban neighborhood with my mom, my younger sister Layla, who's 16, and occasionally my dad, who's a truck driver and gone for weeks at a time. Our house is old, with creaky floors and peeling paint, but it's home. Mom's always been the one running the show. She's strict, quick to judge, and has a soft spot for Layla that I've never quite understood. Layla's the golden child, the one who can do no wrong, even when she's clearly in the wrong. Me? I'm the one who's always too stubborn or needs to learn respect, according to Mom. I'm not perfect, but I've always tried to do right by my family. I work part-time at a local auto shop after school, saving up for college because I know my parents can't afford it. I'm not some genius, but I'm good with my hands, and I've got plans to study automotive engineering. Layla, on the other hand, is all about her social life. She's always on her phone, posting pictures, and hanging out with her friends. She's charming, I'll give her that, but she's also selfish in a way that's hard to pin down unless you're paying attention. The trouble started about a month ago. I'd been saving up for a new laptop. My old one was barely holding together, and I needed something reliable for school and my college applications. I'd scraped together $800, which I kept in a locked box under my bed. It wasn't fancy, just a plain metal box with a cheap padlock, but it was enough to keep my money safe. Or so I thought. One day, I came home from work, tired and covered in grease, and went to check my savings. The box was still there, but the lock was broken and the money was gone. All $800, every cent I'd worked for over months, was missing. My heart sank. I tore my room apart, thinking maybe I'd misplaced it, but deep down, I knew someone had taken it. I went straight to Mom, who was in the kitchen making dinner. "Mom, someone broke into my room and stole my money," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. She barely looked up from the stove. "Are you sure you didn't lose it, Asher? You're always so careless." That stung. Careless? I'd been saving that money for months, counting every dollar. I told her about the broken lock, but she just shrugged. Maybe it was an accident. Don't go throwing accusations around. I wasn't throwing accusations, but I had a pretty good idea who did it. Layla had been acting weird lately, spending money on new clothes and makeup, way more than her allowance could cover. I'd seen her sneaking around the house, too, always with an excuse when I asked what she was doing. So, I confronted her. "Layla, did you take my money?" I asked her that night in the living room. She was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She didn't even look at me. "Why would I take your stupid money? I don't need it." "Then how'd you afford those new sneakers?" I pressed. "Or that fancy phone case?" She rolled her eyes. "None of your business, Asher. Maybe I have a job." "You don't have a job," I shot back. "You barely do your chores." That's when Mom walked in, and things went downhill fast. "Asher, stop bullying your sister," she snapped. "She said she didn't take it, so drop it." I couldn't believe it. Mom was defending her without even asking for proof. I tried to explain about the broken lock, but Mom cut me off. "You're always causing trouble, Asher. Maybe if you weren't so irresponsible, this wouldn't have happened." Irresponsible? I was the one working my butt off while Layla spent her days taking selfies. But no matter what I said, Mom wouldn't listen. That's when Layla smirked at me from the couch, and I knew. She'd taken the money, and she was getting away with it. A few days later, things got worse. I was still furious about the money, but I didn't have proof, so I kept my head down and focused on work. Then, one evening, Mom called me into the dining room. Layla was there, sitting at the table, looking like she'd been crying. Mom's face was stern, and I knew something bad was coming. "Asher," Mom started, "I've been thinking about your behavior. You're out of control, accusing your sister, yelling at her, disrespecting me. I've decided you need discipline. I'm looking into military school." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "Military school? For what?" "Mom, I didn't do anything wrong," I said. "Layla stole my money, and you're punishing me?" "Enough," Mom shouted. "Layla didn't steal anything. You're just jealous of her, and I'm tired of your attitude. Military school will teach you respect." Layla sniffled. playing the victim, but I saw the glint in her eyes. She was loving this. I tried to argue, but Mom wouldn't hear it. It's for your own good, Asher. You need to grow up. I stormed out of the room, my head spinning. Military school would ruin everything. My job, my college plans, my entire future. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't deserve this. But Mom was dead set on protecting Layla, no matter what it cost me. The military school threat wasn't the only problem. There were other issues piling up, making everything more complicated. For one, Dad was barely around, and when he was, he didn't want to get involved. I called him the next day, hoping he'd talk some sense into Mom, but he just sighed. Asher, you know how your mom is. Just do what she says, and it'll blow over. That was no help. Dad's always been like that, avoiding conflict, letting Mom call the shots. It made me feel like I was on my own. Then there was my best friend, Leo, who's 19 and works at the auto shop with me. Leo's the kind of guy who's always got your back, but he's also impulsive and doesn't always think things through. When I told him about Layla and the money, he got mad. You need to call her out, man, he said. Set up a trap or something. Catch her in the act. I liked the idea, but I wasn't sure how to pull it off without making things worse. Plus, I was dealing with school, work, and now the stress of potentially being sent away. My grades were slipping because I couldn't focus, and my boss at the shop, Mr. Jenkins, noticed I wasn't myself. He's a good guy, tough but fair, and he pulled me aside one day. Asher, you're one of my best workers, but you've been distracted. Everything okay at home? I didn't want to drag him into my mess, so I just said, family stuff. I'll get it together. But I knew I had to figure this out fast. I wasn't going to let Layla and Mom ruin my life. I needed proof that Layla took the money, and I needed to stop the military school plan. So, I started paying closer attention to Layla's behavior. She was spending way too much. New earrings, a fancy backpack, even treating her friends to food. There's no way her allowance covered all that. I remembered Leo's idea about a trap. I didn't have any more cash to bait her with, but I had an old phone I didn't use anymore. It was beat up, but it still worked. I set it up in my room, hidden in a pile of clothes, with the camera recording. Then I spread a rumor at dinner that I'd gotten a big tip at work, $200, and was keeping it in my desk drawer. I made sure Layla heard me. Sure enough, the next day, I checked the footage. There was Layla, sneaking into my room, rifling through my desk. She didn't find any money, but the video was gold. I had proof she was willing to steal from me. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I went to her friend Eliana, who's 16 and part of Layla's clique. Eliana's not like Layla. She's quieter, more honest, and I figured she might know something. I caught her at school and showed her a still from the video. Eliana, I know Layla's been spending a lot lately. Did she tell you where she got the money? Eliana looked nervous, but finally spilled. She said she found some cash at home. I didn't know it was yours, Asher. I swear. That was all I needed. Layla had admitted to finding money, which was as good as a confession. But I still had to deal with Mom. She wasn't going to believe me over Layla unless I had a plan. I waited until Dad was home for the weekend. I knew he wouldn't take my side outright, but having him there might keep Mom from shutting me down. I asked for a family meeting, which Mom agreed to, probably thinking she could lecture me again. At the dining table, I laid it all out. Mom, Dad, I know Layla took my $800. I have proof. I showed them the video of Layla sneaking into my room. Then I played a recording I'd made of Eliana's confession. Not the whole thing, just enough to make it clear Layla had found money. Layla's face went pale. That's not fair, she cried. You set me up. You set yourself up when you stole from me, I said, keeping my voice steady. Mom looked shocked, but she still tried to defend Layla. Asher, this doesn't prove anything. Maybe she was just looking for something else. Mom, stop, I said. Eliana said Layla admitted to finding cash. It was my $800. I worked for that money, and she took it. And now you're trying to send me to military school because I called her out. Dad finally spoke up. That's enough, both of you. Layla, did you take the money? Layla burst into tears, but she didn't deny it. I just borrowed it. I was going to pay him back. Borrowed, I said. You broke my lock and didn't tell me. That's stealing. Mom looked like she didn't know what to say. For once, she didn't have an answer. Dad sighed. Layla, you're going to pay him back. Every cent. And Asher, we're not sending you to military school. That was too far. Over the next few weeks, things started to get better. Layla had to get a part-time job at a coffee shop to pay me back. She hated it, but I didn't feel bad. I used the money to buy the laptop I needed, and I started focusing on school again. My grades improved, and Mr. Jenkins even gave me a raise at work for stepping up. Mom apologized, sort of. She didn't say the words, "I'm sorry," but she stopped treating me like the bad guy. I think she was embarrassed about being so wrong about Layla. Dad started checking in more, too, which helped. I also made sure to keep things civil with Layla. I didn't want to hold a grudge forever. She's still my sister, and I know she's young and messed up. But I made it clear I wasn't going to let her walk all over me again. Looking back, I'm proud of how I handled it. I could have yelled or given up, but I stayed calm and found a way to prove the truth. It wasn't easy, especially when it felt like everyone was against me. But I came out stronger, with my money back and my future intact. So, here's where I'm at now. I'm saving up again, this time in a bank account, not a box under my bed. I'm applying to colleges, and I'm closer to my dream of becoming an automotive engineer. Things at home are better, but I know I have to stay sharp. Family can be tricky like that. What do you think? Was there a better way to handle this? Should I have done something differently, like confront Layla sooner or gone to Dad first? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What would you have done in my shoes?